Hello again. So I forgot to explain why your tail belongs in the front. When you do a long tail cast on and you hold it tight the whole time and you don't let that piece of yarn go, it begins to lose its spin. I don't know if you can see, but this spin, the ply, is much tighter than this spin here. And what you need to do every once in a while is let it go so that it can get its spin back, and sometimes you have to help it spin back up. That is why we leave the loose yarn, the tail, in front so that you can let it go and still spin it back into place. So as you're doing your long tail cast on, you spin it back into place and hold it to keep it from unspinning again, and do a couple more of your cast-ons until you get to the end of until you get to the required stitches or until the end of your row. So that is why we do the tail in front. So I went ahead and knitted quite a few more stitches. I started it over and got a few more stitches on the round. And the reason is because I want to show you my favorite way of joining in the round. The way that I join in the round is different than others, but smooth, and that's why I like it. So you have your working yarn here, the beginning of your row over here, the end of your row over here, right? Well, joining in the round, some people knit two together, some people just bring the stitch over and keep knitting. I like to take the beginning stitch, your first stitch, and slide it on to your right needle. So now we have the end and the beginning. Take that end and loop it over. So you're going to take it over. You might need to hold it with your fingernail or whatever you have around. Take it over and now this is your beginning stitch. The stitch that was here is now wrapped around your beginning stitch. And I like to do it that way because you can tighten this and get rid of any gap that there could be. Look how tight that is. It's just like a regular stitch. Now if your pattern calls for 32, you need to knit 33. You will lose a stitch here. So make sure that whatever your pattern calls for, you knit one extra stitch to make up for the one that you're about to wrap around your beginning stitch. So for those of you who missed it, let me go back. If I can get that to separate. Alright, so again, dang it, we're separated, see, ta-da. Beginning of the row is over here. That was stitch number 1. This is stitch number X, the end of the row. We have our working yarn and our tail. So again, we take our beginning stitch, slide it on to the right needle. Okay. Take the left needle, grab the second stitch in, slide everything up, and wrap it around. Bring it over and drop that in between the needles. Then take these two and tighten them up. By the way, it's really hard to knit while viewing a camera. So for the reason it's going to the corners because I'm occasionally looking up to see what I'm doing. So then, after that's all tightened in, you can see it looks like nothing ever happened there. It looks like it was meant to be in a circle the whole time. It looks the same as everything else. That is why that is my preferred method for joining in the round. So there was your clarification as to why the tail needs to be in front on your long tail cast on and how to join in the round. Have fun!